Continuing coverage this morning, a federal court permanently blocked an Arkansas law.
It requires the 10 Commandments to be displayed in every school classroom. Well, this week, the court determined Act 573 violated free exercise rights under the First Amendment. The court said in its ruling that there's no justifiable reason for the 10 Commandments to be displayed inside public school classrooms. The act was passed into Arkansas law last year, but multiple school districts sued the state soon after. The state attorney's general office says it's reviewing the opinion and will appeal. Well, in other news, a Eureka Springs city council member was arrested by state police and now faces assault charges. Harry Meyer is accused of damaging someone's property and getting in an altercation with his neighbor. It stems from an alleged incident last July. Meyer was confronted about alleged abuse of power during a city meeting that month. One resident said that he hit her with his car. The city did not cite any specific injuries, but said that she reported the incident to police. State police special agents arrested Meyer on Friday.
Well, the Fayetteville Ordinance Review Committee is set to meet tomorrow to talk about upping the compensation cap for water and sewer damage claims. We've been telling you about one resident whose home was damaged after the city incorrectly located a sewer main and a company later drilled into it. During a recent city council meeting, the homeowner says the city did offer a payment, but said it doesn't come close to covering the full cost of the damage.
I want to know that the city's got my back to make things right when I've been wronged. Got a duty to defend what I've worked to achieve.
The resident says there's more than $130,000 in damage, but the city says it can only pay for damage up to $100,000. And authorities say one person is in custody. This is after a car chase in Leflore County ended with a pit maneuver. This is video off Highway 9 near Pensacola on Monday. Police chase there on the left side of the screen. Oklahoma Highway Patrol says that police there was chasing a person who failed to stop at a stop sign. Then a state trooper responded and reportedly performed that pit maneuver. We didn't get any information on who the suspect is or what the person was charged with, but we'll have those updates today on 5 News as we get them.
Well, the city of Fayetteville is asking residents to cut down certain trees and plants, and in return, they'll get a free replacement.
Yeah, it's part of an effort to control invasive species across the area. 5 News reporter Claire Averbach is on this one with the details. Good morning.
Well, if you've been driving around Northwest Arkansas or walking on the trails the last few weeks, you probably have noticed these trees behind me that are blooming. They're called Bradford pear trees. And while they might be a beautiful white color and they're certainly nice to look at, they actually are considered pretty invasive to the area. An invasive species is a plant that comes into the area whether unintentionally or not and affects the local environment and can be potentially harmful to vegetation and ecosystems. Bradford pears are just one example. This year, the city's also targeting the mimosa tree, along with other species like bush honeysuckle. Through the city's bounty program, residents can remove one of these plants, submit a photo, and receive a free native tree or shrub in return. John Scott is the urban forester with the city of Fayetteville. He says the mimosa tree, while known for its beauty and pink color, is ultimately harmful to the natural environment.
It's a little controversial because it is a beautiful tree and people do have a sentimental attachment to it, which I completely understand. However, just because it's beautiful, just like the Bradford pear, it is also invasive, and you can find it out in our woods, out competing our native plants and displacing our native plants. Plus, our native plants are better for our wildlife as well.
Scott says these trees can also cause economic damage with the amount of money it takes to remove them, as well as increase the risk for tick-borne illnesses. Residents can submit a photo of the cut-down plant up until this Friday, March 20th. You can find more information on our website, 5newsonline.com. Live in Fayetteville, covering news where you live, Claire Averbach, 5 News.
All right, thanks for that, Claire. 6:37, Israeli defense officials announcing that its strikes have killed a top security official and a military commander overnight in Iran.
Meanwhile, Iran continues to fire with more strikes on Gulf nations this morning, including near the U.S. Embassy in Baghdad. Bradley Blackburn has more.
Iranian drones sparked explosions in Baghdad near the U.S. Embassy early Tuesday, according to Iraqi security forces. The United Arab Emirates and Qatar say they've also intercepted more Iranian drones following yesterday's attacks.
They weren't supposed to go after all these other countries in the Middle East.
Monday, President Trump expressed shock that Iran has targeted its neighbors after the war began 2 weeks ago. The Pentagon says more than 200 U.S. service members have been injured since then, and at least 13 have been killed. The president was again asked when the war will end.
It'll be soon. Won't be long. And we're going to have a much safer world when it's wrapped up.
President Trump continues to face backlash from Democrats, especially over a surge in gas prices.
The administration failed to prepare for this reckless war of choice.
Some allies have rejected the president's calls to help the U.S. reopen the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping lane for the world's oil that has been effectively shut down due to threats from Iran.
This is not Europe's war.
President Trump says he now plans to delay a planned trip to China by a month because of the war. He also has called on China to help police the Strait of Hormuz. So far, Chinese officials say they are, quote, committed to de-escalating tensions. Bradley Blackburn, CBS News, New York.
Well, this morning, more travelers are feeling the effects of the partial government shutdown. Long TSA lines are impacting airports around the country. TSA agents are being asked to work without pay because of the shutdown, which started last month. On Sunday, some 10% of agents called out sick, and more than 360 others have quit their jobs.
I love the agency. I love the people that I worked with, but my family has to come first.
This comes as 171 million passengers take to the skies for spring break. Meanwhile, Congress is still in a stalemate, with Democrats pushing for changes to ICE and Republicans refusing offers to open individual agencies. Over the weekend, major airline CEOs sent a letter to Congress saying air travel is a political football and calling the situation unacceptable.